Here, here. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Without any delay, so let's start the debate. Giving floor to the PM. Here, here.
Here, here.
Chair, feminism has been expanding into various spectrums of beliefs, but we believe one thing will remain, and that is the objective of feminist movement will forever stay the same. But the problem and the urgency starts to fall when feminist movement themselves create internal exclusivity to choose which sort of audience that they want to garner and which they do not want. And we think that's harmful. But before that, let's characterize what feminist movement is and what is the real aim and why do we tell you that we do not go against it. The aim is to include and to fight women of different cultures and backgrounds to what they believe in. For example, like pink saris in India. Though it's radical, but feminist movement accept the fact that if that is the sort of empowerment that they want to achieve, and if this sort goes to the aim and objective of empowerment for women, we think that it's justified. Hence, we support lipstick feminism. But important, what's contentious? What's contention is to prove which side proves empowers women without being exclusive to what sort of standard a feminist should comply to. So what we have to first characterize is that embracing traditional ideas of femininity doesn't mean you're complying to gender roles, right? This means you can be the person that you want to be at the very best that you believe in. For example, most stigmatization of feminists is that you have to be loud, for example, or you cannot be shy and whatnot, right? We think that if a woman wants to embrace this sort of femininity of being shy or being soft in a manner, we don't think that they should be condemned in any way. Because if that's what makes an individual happy, and if that is the best platform for them to empower themselves, we think that it's justified. Second, we think that why is it justified for them to also use any sort of them or their sexual appearance to weaponize themselves in getting what the things that they want? We think that bodily autonomy also exists. We think that feminist movements also fights for the respect of choice of what female wants on the ground, and we think that feminist movement should be there at the back to support lipstick feminism at the end of the day. We think that what is within self-gratification is very important, hence opposition have to prove to us how do you then want to garner more supporters if you become exclusive? But second, why is it then we think that on your side, you're going against the whole ideology of what feminism really believes, hence harming your whole paradigm? But the first argument and substantive is inclusivity within the ambit of the feminist movement. We say that status quo is the reason why feminists or female, conservative females, for example, do not feel included, is because this sort of portrayal of female or femininity that they want is being ousted, right? So the reason why feminist movement should not oust what a female feels at their very best is because the main objective and the main aim for feminist movement is to empower the choices of the female wants, and that is the most important contentious thing in this debate. That's the very means of self-gratification. If that is what happiness derives from the female to feel the best, we think that that's the best. But also second analysis to this is that the benefits that feminist movement can actually garner is that this pushes feminist movements even more on a global scale, where you don't cherry pick your audience, but the fight between these females are then mutually going to be meet together, because we know now that feminist movement do not oust other sort of beliefs or other sort of standards in being a feminist to the same way of what they want to be empowered. We think that we don't want feminist movement to seem as if they're a hypocrite, but instead to always have that platform to support the female supporters or feminist movement supporters in their world. But what is then the other benefits that you garner in comparison with we think that you garner women from conservatives area, but also women from various backgrounds and various backgrounds and cultures without making them feel inferior or without making them feel like they're not good enough to comply to be in your feminist movements, right? But also you create a safe space for these inferior women to join in, because this is the sort of minority that feminist movement at the end of the day wants to empower or to boost up and help their lives. But now they feel that because they're not being punished for being who they want to be, you create a sense of choice that you respect towards this woman, rather than punishing them, saying that, oh, you shouldn't be these sort of things because you're conceding to a lot of narratives. But we think that is absolutely wrong. The harms that you then get in up is that you create a harmful standard that deteriorates. Why? We think that now women or female are now more afraid in trying to join feminist movement because they feel that the standard is very high to comply. For example, oh, you can't be a certain way, you have to behave a certain way, all your ideologies will not be appreciated because these are the standards that feminist movement goes on. We think that's very harmful because you then have a pre-requirement to being a feminist, and we do not think that that's what feminist movement believes in. And it's harmful on your reputation because it deems as if you're not fighting the same fight. But most importantly, when you have these sort of inclusivity and the fact that you want to also benefit the feminist movement to also garner it at a global scale and to be accepted in other countries, is to then slowly penetrate this in a form of respecting other shiftings of theory and ideologies of feminism. With that, never been more proud to propose.
Thank you very much, PM, for her speech. Requesting the hello to give her speech.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to start.
Start.
Okay, one question for OG, right? When you say that we shouldn't frame feminism, when you say that we shouldn't give us an exact definition to feminism, isn't lipstick feminism also a definition and a frame to frame women in, right? When lipstick feminists tell women that they should embrace traditional ideas of femininity in order to be a feminist, are you also giving the woman a definition of what feminism should actually be, right? So yeah, I would like to see DPM answer that question. So firstly, yes, we do stand with OG in that we truly want the best for feminism, right? We truly want the best for women to empower themselves, right? So what is our definition? What is OO's definition of feminism, right? Which is anything that helps women's progression in society, i.e., confidence, their rights, and social constructs, right? So in OO's case, we're going to focus on the social constructs which empower women, which I will talk about, and also my partner will talk about how we can also empower women and give them that confidence, right? So what is the status quo? What is that status quo, right? We see that now our society is slightly better for women than in the 19th century when feminism first started, because of the work women's done to show the patriarchy their worth outside of the traditional feminine ideals, i.e., sexuality and object and how they objectify women, right? So we see that. So when society forces these objectifying traditional ideas onto women, we see that women are being seen in the light. Women are being seen in the light that, oh, you're only an object. Your only asset is your beauty and your sexual appeal, right? So to clarify, right, we totally support the notion that women should do whatever they want. If a woman wants to embrace their femininity, sure, go ahead. But we just don't believe that people should be pushing this kind of narrative onto anyone and forcing any woman to actually comply to these ideals, right? So what are these harmful social constructs that women are being yeah, I'll take your
Taken.
I've clarified to you, the sort of narratives that we're pushing, hence lipstick feminism, is a choice to female who wants to opt into this. So why is that then bad?
Okay, when someone comes up and tells you, right, like lipstick feminist comes up and tell you that, oh, if you we think it's feminist only if a woman embraces traditional ideas of femininity. Sure, it's a choice, but it's also somewhat of a pressure when someone tells you a definition, their definition of feminism. We believe that there shouldn't be any definition of feminism at all, right? We believe that women should do whatever they want to do, which my partner will expand on, right? So to continue on, what are these harmful social constructs that shun women down in society, right? We see that the idea that women are objects, the sexualization and the objectification of women leads to the need for women to appear demure and quiet in mannerisms. So when someone tells you the narrative that, oh, you are only a feminist if you comply to these traditional ideas, tradition, and to weaponize your sexual appeal, right? We see that this kind of idea has historically been something that is so is so is so oppressing of women, and that when someone tells a woman to do this kind of thing, then they would also feel the same. They would feel sexualized. They would feel objectified, and they would only feel like their only assets are their looks, right? And so when someone comes up and press that narrative, we believe that it is actually oppressing women and actually pressuring these women and giving them a definition of feminism, right? So in conclusion, right, over the hundreds of years that women have tried to prove their worth outside of sexual appeal and looks, the improvement of women's rights has only gradually increased. So if we backtrack that now, i.e., we suddenly force a traditional idea of femininity onto women, right? Then all that hard work from generations and upon generations of women would be lost. So therefore, very, very proud to oppose. Thank you.
Thank you very much for his nice speech. DPM. DPM, are you there?
Hear me?
Yeah. Start your
Alright, thank
speech.
you.
Yeah.
Here. Start.
I agree with leader of opposition that women can do whatever they want with their life, act whatever they want, and wear whatever they want, and live however they want. But we think that there is some sort of misunderstanding on side of opening opposition, because they assume that we only support this kind of lipstick feminism to exist in status quo, which I think it is a bit unrealistic due to the fact that Aimi has explained to you the current status quo, which is the existing feminist movement, which mostly perceived as predominantly white and rich girls and women who are privileged enough to have those kind of exposure to liberal ideas. What opening opposition need to realize that in status quo, there exists a substantial portion of women in a lot of society who consented to these traditional ideas of femininity, who want to weaponize her own sexual appeal, but feel like the feminism idea that the current feminist movement brings is too extreme for them, is too contrary to their traditional values, hence they disassociate themselves with feminist movement. So we think that if side opposition want to argue opposing lipstick feminism, they need not only to tell us that they need to tell us why women in those kind of society who conform to traditional ideas, why is it unjustified to also include them in the feminist movement right now. So it is not about like it's not about deciding which kind of lipstick feminism that all women should conform to, but it is a question of whether if a woman embrace traditional ideas of femininity, whether or not that particular woman should be labeled and should be defined as a feminist. So that's the clarification that I think is so significant in the LO speech that I need to make. So what Aimi has told you, Aimi has told you about the idea of inclusivity and the increasing support that we will have in the end of the day, which was never actually engaged by a leader of population due to those kind of misunderstanding. But we think that even if even if we like breach any kind of and okay, so the comparative that we bring into this debate is that Aimi brings to you the reasoning why lipstick feminism is aligned to the principle of feminism, which is giving women choices. So side opening abolition need to explain to us in what way they align themselves with the principle of feminism when they say that they does not support lipstick feminism, which means that they exclude those women who consented and who personally choose to wear dresses and act in a soft way, in an appealing way to the men. Why those kind of women should not be considered as a feminist? But secondly, Aimi has told you about how increasing support that we get in the end of the day. Sure, there are uh, there are no likelihood that these women are actually like progressive as those in the West. But we think it is important to include them in the discussion to make them feel the sense of belonging as a feminist movement. They feel like they are part of feminists and they are not feeling excluded from the whole progressive movement instead. So the benefits that we can accrue as a result of that is that whenever there is a discourse of or discussion about the current issues, these women feel more incentivized to talk and to engage or even to just know about things that are labeled as feminism ideas. They does not feel that kind of stigma against those kind of ideas simply because we include them in the discussion. We include them as a part of the feminist ideas. So in the comparative is in opposition world, those kind of women who actually are not at fault of conforming to those traditional ideas that might be wrong, might be harmful to women, but they are the ones who also feels the need to be educated, also feels the need to go to schools, also feels the need to go to work, but are not labeled or are not included as part of the feminist movement that fight for those kind of laws and policies that protect their rights on those aspects that they also want. So all in all, we believe that this debate should only operate on status quo and how this will benefit not only women in the West, but also women as whole. For that, we are proud to propose.
Thank you very much. Last speaker of the upper house, Diallo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Here. Start.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today I am going to tell you why precisely that supporting lipstick feminists is actually a huge backtrack in the entire feminism movement, and how on our side we see that this is not only going to harm a lot of women currently in the feminism movement, but this does not help to include the other women, right? First of all, some rebuttals. Side government has come up and told us that, well, they think that currently the feminism movement is exclusive, and they think that lipstick feminism it's going to be more inclusive, right? First of all, they said that they said that feminism in itself is an exclusive movement, and we see that is not true.
Why? Because in the current society, in current feminism, we see all sorts of people from different backgrounds already. And we see that whenever someone wants to do something else, no matter what they want to do, for example, they want to be louder, they want to be heard, or whether they want to be shy, they want to wear makeup, we still accept them as a person. We still don't exclude them, right? But we see that lipstick feminism is the exclusive part. And we see that by supporting lipstick feminism, as PM asked in a POI, right? They said that, okay, lipstick feminism is something that the people can opt in. But on our side, is this not pushing a new exclusive part in feminism? Because people are going to be like, okay, I'm not a lipstick feminist. I feel excluded from them, right? This is another new exclusive part. And we see that lipstick feminism is the exclusive one. And if they say that they want, no, thank you. And if they say that they want to banish exclusivity within feminism, we see that they are doing the exact opposite of what they say they want to do, right? Second, they also said that, okay, we on-site opposition are going to create a harmful standard. But we see that lipstick feminism is the one creating a harmful standard, as my leader of opposition has already said, and as I will elaborate on later. Okay, they also said that, well, they believe that side opposition is misunderstanding that they only support lipstick feminism, right? No, we have not misunderstood. And in fact, we see that supporting lipstick feminism, even though you don't only support it, it's still bringing a lot of harm to the entire feminist community, to the entire feminist movement in general, right? They also said that, okay, wait, onto my own points, right? On how this is going to affect the confidence of the women, right? First of all, inside inside government speech, they said that yes, the feminist movement is that women can do what they want, and we totally agree with that. And we see that these women, they shouldn't be bound by social constructs. They shouldn't be bound by these rules that society come up with, because lipstick feminism is an overgeneralization, because they say that we need to embrace these ideas. We need to be more traditional. And we see that this is also obstructing people who want to be who want to step away from these traditions. Okay, they also said that they're like not supporting lipstick feminism means that we don't want to include them. We do want to include them. We're saying that it's completely fine, but it's creating a whole new group of lipstick feminists as a separate as a subgroup in the feminist movement correct? No, we believe it isn't, right? Okay, on how this is going to affect the confidence of women, right? First of all, because of these lipstick feminisms, people are going to think that there are people who are going to be weaponizing their sexual appeal, right? And we see that this harms a lot of other women, because they're going to think, first of all, what if I don't want to conform to these lipstick feminism ideas, but I have a lot of friends who are lipstick feminists, and I can't I feel excluded from them, and therefore we see that on site government side, they're more likely to be exclusive. Second, another self-doubt that this might cause to women and lower their confidence, right? What if they only hired me, or what if they only promoted me because of my sexual appeal? What if what they think about me, why they hired me, it's not because of my own skills, of my own good hard work, and it's only because of my sexual appeal? This is lowering the confidence of women, and therefore this is hindering the feminism movement, a movement which a lot of older generations, a lot of people have devoted their work to, right? And we see that this lipstick feminism movement, that which side government is supporting, is only going to hinder these people from moving forward as a society about their ideas of women, right? And that is why this motion must fall. Thank you.
Without any delay, moving to the lower house, member of the government. Member of the government.
Am I clear from this distance?
Yeah,
Here,
but
here.
it's echoing some.
It's echoing.
Yeah.
Is it still echoing now?
It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Wait, give me a second.
Sure.
Start.
It is really great if in status quo, male employers never discriminate against women just because they are not slim enough, just because they are not pretty enough. However, we have to accept the sad fact that often the only way women can progress on the corporate ladder is by appealing to their employers, just like how their other male employees whom also compete for managerial positions do, right? So how will we differentiate ourselves from opening government? Firstly, we will prove to you how these women whom sexually liberalized are often the most vulnerable women and whom we should protect, as compared to just blindly talking about intersectionality, choice, and whatsoever without actually telling us why exactly do we need to focus upon these stakeholders. Secondly, we will prove to you the benefits of having more women in managerial positions when they can achieve their goals. Now, before I move on, several points of rebuttals. Firstly, on the whole idea of objectification, we believe that objectification happens either way, right? We have lots of K-pop bands out there whom apply lots of makeup. We have TV series portraying beautiful women. Often, these women are objectified just because a few more lipstick feminists go out there, won't seriously change or perpetuate objectification as they wanted to argue, because we are not talking about turning the whole feminist movement to become a lipstick feminist movement. No, we are talking about small factions of the feminist group whom want to become lipstick feminists, right? Secondly, on the whole idea of exclusion and how men would now judge women based on their appearance, we tell you that this happens in status quo. The fact that you deny the existence of lipstick feminists do not help this. In fact, employers also look at the capabilities of their potential employees, be it whether or not they've scored straight A's in their exams. Therefore, we don't understand how all of a sudden we will achieve so many harms, right? Now, okay, moving on to my first argument about how lipstick feminists represent the most vulnerable women. Yes, we understand from opening government that women deserve to be autonomous, respect intersectionality. However, this is not enough, right? Why are these lipstick feminists often the minority? Look, they often represent sex workers. They often represent women who love to dress up, whom are unwilling to become tomboys, as many other feminists urge them to become. This means that these are the women who often feel isolated from other women. Look, in a Western liberal society, when many women believe that the ideal women should look like is cutting short hair, not dressing up, not using makeup, this represents the majority, sure. However, we still need to recognize that there are many women out there who also love their looks, who also want to make themselves look pretty. However, under your side, what happens is that you neglect these women, you push them out of the feminist movement because you actively demonize them, calling them unfeminist, not becoming not a real feminist. However, under your side, how about people whom are traditional feminists, whom reject all traditional notions of sexuality and femininity? We tell you that these people are already sufficiently protected. We have the Me Too movement out there where women congregate and call out people who have sexually abused them. However, we don't have a movement who specifically caters to women, to lipstick feminists, right? Therefore, we protect these people whom are neglected by the feminist movement itself. Secondly, is that we cannot just debate in a liberal democracy. However, we must also look at the world where many parts are conservative, and the only way to survive is to appeal to men. Wearing high heels, speak softly. When men dominate the workforce, that's the only way you can climb up the corporate ladder. This means that under our side, we better include women from all parts of the world. This means that they can embrace traditional ideas of femininity while at the same time be a feminist. Now, moving on to my second argument regarding climbing up the social corporate ladder. Why is this so important? Look, how do men climb up the corporate ladder? They can play golf with their bosses. They can go out and drink beer with them. However, these are the very things that women cannot do. They have to stick to their family and all of these things, right? How do we break this stereotype? How do we break this stereotype? When women actively mingle with their employers, show that they are a bit sexually submersive. In the best case, wearing a few high heels, looking appealing, might win you a managerial position. However, in the worst case, we are willing to take the bullet, bite the bullet, and claim that it is okay for women to sleep with their bosses in order to just assume a managerial position. Why is this important? Because it levels the playing field of women. It also makes sure that more women get to these top posts. This means that some women will necessarily act as the trailblazers who sacrifice themselves in order to open way for more women to assume these positions when not all your employers are men and 50%, 70% of them are women. This means that it opens the gateway for more women to enter the workforce as compared to side opposition when nothing changes, when women are continuously being called as too loud, shrill, not feminine enough, and locked out of these top managerial positions by their other male employees. For all of the reasons, side with side closing government.
Am I audible? Is it echoing?
Yeah, you are audible, not echoing. Start your speech.
Okay, I'll just start the timer.
Member Gov, you need to stop your speech.
Member of the government, please stop your speech. Yu Chang.
Yuchong, I think you need to expressly press the stop button.
Okay.
Someone please knock him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start.
I'll start.
Start.
Honorable panel, feminism as a movement is something aimed at gaining equality, that is giving women as many choices as possible, creating platforms from which can succeed and helping women achieve the true dignity they deserve, right? That is to say that it's not a binary that side government would like to portray to be, right? That is to say it's not about like, just because I don't actively support lipstick feminism doesn't mean that I'm going to shun lipstick feminism, right? I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about something else, because we need to understand what is the status quo. Like the entire government bench and even opening opposition misses the practical aspects, right? Any theme or topic has limited airtime. Now, if I support lipstick feminism, where already society believes that women should adhere to these particular ideals of femininity, then it already just emphasizes on existing dominant norm. That is to say that it creates a super strong norm which eclipses everything else that we say, right? That any kind of other things that we on, like getting more women into STEM, etc., won't get as much attention as this, because this is something which just resonates because it already exists in the current status quo, right? Thus, women have to focus on feminism has to focus on specific things which offers women maximum choice. And given how status quo has this particular prejudice, in order to offer them this true choice, we must focus on spheres where women numbers are less, that is STEM, corporate, etc., so that equality in all spheres can be achieved. Thus, the world we aim to create is a world where women and men understand that there are no specific characteristics to any particular gender, right? There is no traditional idea of femininity or traditional idea of masculinity. You can literally be anything you want. That is to say, you can be aggressive, sexual, dismissive, manipulative, etc. Anything required for your self-actualization, and so that you're able to live up to your full potential. And we're going to prove why supporting lipstick feminism is problematic for 5 major reasons, right? One is the fact that it alienates women. Second is the fact that it prevents women from getting the respect they deserve. Third is the fact that it fractures the movement. Fourth is the fact that it's harmful for other women. And fifth is the fact that it's harmful for the women itself. So the first point is the fact that it alienates more women, right? The entire government case about how, women need to like use this particular sexual nature in order to be hired is something which is totally incorrect, right? That is to say that in this particular day and age where there exists legislations where women are and affirmative actions where women are allowed into schools, where they're given education and where their talent is easily seen, we don't think that women have to use this particular sexual appeal in order to get jobs, right? That's a completely wrong. Furthermore, the notion that feminism is talking about elitist ideas, etc., and is not capable of being relatable to the poor people and the marginalized communities is also completely incorrect, right? Like you can see in India where girl children actively try to seek education, be on equal footing as their siblings, etc., because feminism, which asks for equality, is something which is intrinsic in human beings and is something which has a universal appeal. But understand what is problematic with trying to focus on your sexual appearance, right, or your appearance in general, because it's something which is morally arbitrary, right? That it depends on your genealogy, depends on how rich you are to get access to cosmetics as compared to any other characteristics, right? That is to say that academic, sporting, cultural abilities are things which can be improved by practice and is completely in your control. Thus, women who are not blessed with this genealogy and this lottery of birth are going to get depressed by this particular turn of the feminist movement because of the fact that you can only focus on 2-3 issues at the same time. And if you focus on lipstick feminism, necessarily you're going to alienate a larger section of women who can't do anything about it. The second reason why we think that this is particularly problematic is because of the fact that you prevent women from getting the respect they truly deserve in society. Now, this is a nuanced argument which we must pay attention to. So we want women to be present in all spheres of life, right? It should be corporate, fashion, everything. But more importantly, we want men to see women in all spheres, right? It is only when they see women in the same spheres that they work in, for example, corporate, being CEOs, professionals, that they will actually start treating women with the dignity and respect that they deserve, right? In the current status quo, they do not do that because they just see them as people who have inferior capabilities. Whereas when we start promoting this particular corporate narrative and promoting these kind of academic narratives, which currently don't have any support on ground, then basically women will start coming more and more into the corporate, and as a result, they'll start seeing in women CEOs, and they'll start respecting us and believing that we're capable of financial independence, right? We're able to biases that exist in the minds and prevent discrimination. And this is particularly very harmful for other women, right? Side CG is like, oh, you know what? Things are really bad. Let's just make it worse. That is not the solution to this particular problem, right? The solution to this particular problem is trying to reform this particular narrative rather than make it like a spiraling circle where now necessarily all women are going to be objectified, right? Because now that you're propagating an existing norm, then objectification now has legitimacy and it's going to become exponentially worse. That is to say that women who don't want to be associated with these kind of mannerisms are also become collateral damage and suffer things like sexual abuse and things like that. And the next is the fracturing of the movement, which due to which we lose the support of people who are in corporates, etc., who won't fund feminist movements. And hence, for all these reasons, we're very proud to oppose.
Yeah, give me 5 seconds.
Sure.
Hear, hear.
Start.
Firstly, let's engage with the idea of bodily autonomy coming from closing government, right? Two problems with that, right? Firstly, understand that the access to use your bodily autonomy and your sexual appeal is not uniformly distributed across women. We think like it exists as a function of what society considers to be more sexual, more beautiful, and things like that, right? Which is to say that when access to this kind of weapon is not equally distributed across women, using this bodily autonomy necessarily means that you're excluding certain women who might be better at those jobs, right? Which is to say that if you create the competition of using sexual appeal and if you give women this leeway by going forward and supporting it, you essentially give them a shortcut to like a harder route, but secondly B, you like enforce it on other women who do not want to open up in that particular way, but simply will have to simply because it's the competition right now, right? But secondly understand how this creates a lot of problems in the status quo, right? Two major links that were missing in opening opposition with that. Understand beauty, mannerisms, and things like that can be improved only as much, right? You only have as much control to improve the way you look and appeal to the society who has its own biases, etc., right? On the comparative, we feel that even if you need to work hard to develop a particular skill because you need to show and prove yourself much more than your male counterpart, we think that's better because in the process you learn a lot of things, right? Because we tell you that learning a skill is something which you can do in the status quo. The hard work factor is equally distributed across women, but not the beauty factor and not the sexual appeal factor, right? We think like given the metric that CG is trying to run and how it is not equally distributed and how the control over you to improve that is not equally distributed, we completely disagree with that kind of characterization, right? So understand on the comparative what it does, right? It makes women feel more conscious about how they look, right? Which means more women are essentially going to spend time into how they look and essentially conforming to the beauty standards, right? We tell you this amount of time is better spent in learning a particular skill to be able to prove your worth to the individuals who call you out on not being capable, right? Which is to say that if closing government comes and tells you that already these women are sexually appealed, already these women are sexualized and objectified, we tell you going forward and supporting lipstick feminism would essentially mean that you create more faces of these kind of feminists, right? And which is exceptionally questionable because these people lack the legitimacy to go forward and call out men, something I'm going to analyze in a bit, right? Opening government loses this debate because they don't understand the trade-off, right? They don't understand the trade-off that feminism as a whole has limited airtime resources, which means you need to prioritize among the most vulnerable groups and the most optimized route, right? Which is to say, you cannot come and say all child choices need to be respected, because understand the status quo, women are not seen as capable, as leaders, as capable innovators and things like that. We tell you choice itself is not seen as something which they objectively and actively make, right? Which means respect towards that choice does not exist, which means it cannot proceed, right? Thirdly, with the idea of inclusivity, right? Understand when in the current status quo you have toxic plastic girl cultures in high school, where there is this differentiation between women at a very young age, between women who are very good looking according to the like high school, and women who are not, right? Which creates this demarcation, which dissociates a lot of women from the narrative of feminist movement itself. We tell you more access exists for white feminists because simply the social narrative of what beautiful is more in their favor. We tell you all, because of all of this, opening government clearly loses debate, right? Opening opposition gives some assertions in terms of assets being only looks and confidence of women. We'll tell you, we'll mechanize all of that to you and tell you exclusively how it impacts the status quo, right? With that, let's contextualize our particular case in this particular debate, right? And we'll engage with closing government on this, right? Understand, when you weaponize your sexual appeal in job interviews, what is the trade-off, right? Lesser women make it on our side of the house. Why is this something which you're willing to do in our side of the house, right? We tell you, like, these women who work harder to go forward and like against the biases, even if they are less, they have the legitimacy to go and call out the kind of workplace harassment that takes place, right? Because their slut shaming does not exist for these individuals, because they have not come by using their sexual appeal, which means like when they are the face of feminist movement, they can call out, and hence trickle down impact exists for other women as a whole, right? Which means these women, even if they are lesser, they actually get more projects to work on, because people see them as capable and not somebody who just used her privilege and used her looks to come, right? Which means if she's given more projects, if she's given more opportunities to work with, she has more avenue to prove that women are not what you think, right? Which means she has more capability to like turn down the narratives and against what is existing, and which means the narratives that exist against women can come down only in our side of the house, even if we agree with the kind of trade-off that closing government pushes on us, right? With that, understand lastly the trade-off of lottery of birth. We tell you this is something which opening opposition completely missed, right? Understand when beauty also exists as a lottery of birth, and other ability to like educate yourself also exists as a lottery of birth. We tell you the latter is better than the former, right? Because you simply have more control in order to dictate like what you can become, because you can improve it because you can improve it infinitely as compared to looks, which is subject to your genes, which is subject a lot more to your access to makeup kits and things like that. We tell you, and it hampers confidence. We tell you, very, very proud to oppose.
Thank you very much.
Here.
We are going